Australia mid, so teams are swapping it up a little bit. Also, different regions have different priorities. If you go over to the LPL over in China, Azir is top pick, ban, insta-lock, and Victor is a close second. Not so much, definitely not in Europe, and especially not in this game. Definitely not, and now with the Alistar and Morgana both banned away the purple supports, no AD carries taken off, so just like last game, we could be potentially in for a Kalista-Sivir matchup. If they decide to go for it, a lot is left open there, as a couple of top picks, a couple of mid picks have been off the board. That's a good point you make right there, but neither AD carry to me screams Kalista. I don't think Audrey is a fantastic Kalista player. I've seen Vardex on Kalista and it didn't really work out either, so I would like to see a Sivir first rotation pick, because you know the traditional counter, quote-unquote, Kalista is not going to be played well by your counterpart, so I don't know why Giants are hesitating here. Just love to see that Sivir. Yeah, looks like you will get your wish. That is locked in. That's one wish, Audrey. One! Just one. You got two more. Two more. I need to find another. Let's see. Genie. So we may still see the Kalista. But it doesn't have to be now. But it doesn't have to be very quickly. This is the key thing. I think it's really interesting that the supports, those two pretty large support pickups have been banned away. Godfred, remember, pretty much the god for Morgana, hadn't dropped a game on that one. But the only other champion who's had success on been Janna. I don't know if they're going to want to pair that with a Sivir. Yeah, looking at Hylissang, obviously he has his Thresh left. It's very hard to play that into Sivir due to the nature of the spells of Thresh are very telegraphed, so Spell Shield is very easy to cast. In addition to that, fights get very chaotic, so landing the hook is hard. However, Hylissang has shown some mastery of Braum. Over in the LPL, that is traditionally a pick into this chaos from Sivir, because you can just zone control around objectives very well and go for those repetitive dragons. However, Hylissang is just so good on Thresh that it's almost a crime for him not to lock it in here. And then we're probably looking at the jungle for an early rotation pick. Yeah. Don't give away too much information. Likely we'll probably see maybe a Nidalee in response here from Giants Gaming. That would be the meta pick of choice. However, if Fredrik feels more comfortable on Rek'Sai, he could also opt for that champion. Yeah, and he's definitely been able to pull off some pretty incredible moves there. Some of those big Baron steals that got him his nickname were on that champion. But something we didn't point out as much with the two junglers available, that's pretty obvious. However, for Unicorns, their AD carry is something a little bit different. Yeah, a little different here. Graves coming out into Sivir. Honestly, not that big of a fan. I feel you can Spell Shield throughout trading potential. Unless they go for a support that can also proc the Spell Shield, that will force Sivir to swap away, because she obviously has one spell sheet. She has to use that eventually, and then Buckshot and collateral damage from Graves can come out. However, it scales poorly. It should have been Kalista, in my opinion, and it just shows that Vardex is not comfortable on that champion. So Giants, in a sense, making a good read on the pick and ban phase, not getting too worried about these champions being open. Not only that, you know, they got the Thresh takeaway as well onto Hylissang, so denying a little bit of that. And now with the Unicorns locking in the Annie and the Maokai, Graves Annie lane that was powerful once upon a time. I don't know about now. I like it into this matchup in particular because of the reason we talked about earlier, and because now he has threat from the Annie W, which is instance, which is hard to read. You have the Annie Q obviously that can get spell shield, but then Graves has follow-up damage, and in this lane, Thresh is just very weak, so we'll see a lane swap almost 100% guaranteed come out from Giants Gaming. Otherwise, they're probably going to lose this lane. Remember, back in spring, the Unicorns of Love bot lane was known to get kills. They killed almost every single LCS duo in the first 9 games, I believe. So Hylissang and Vardex were incredibly good at playing these 2v2. So they still have those traits left. And the interesting part, going back to picks and bans, why that Thresh come out is because Giants banned Alistar themselves. Unicorns shot themselves in the foot with the Morgana ban, but it's a bigger bullet into Giants' draft because Godfred has only really played that Morgana. Something we forgot about, we took it for granted almost every single game in both splits. The Jax ban did not happen, and Werlip says, why not? It fits his style, honestly. Whether he does it on Shyvana or Jax, he does it a little better on Jax. It's just that split push pressure that allows Giants to scale into the mid game. However, the Unicorns don't leave it open without having a counter ready, so we could, or at least should, assume that they have something ready to deal with it, whether it's just a passive Maokai played and scale and go for these crazy team fights, or a better 2v2, find something that opens up. Rek'Sai Jax isn't the strongest 2v2. Nidalee Jax would have been brutal. That's something you always have to keep in mind when you look at these drafts, not only team compositions, but also how do they work in fewer numbers, and that's something you always look at for top lane and jungle. If they have a stronger duel, then that can transition into vision control. Interesting to see what jungle pick, or what it's going to be here in the end for Power of Evil. We have Gragas Maokai if they find that Jax. Comfort picks all around then. They could go for that Power of Evil on Syndra. Not sure if this is back to the roots or just whether he got hit too hard in champion pool and he has nothing left. That's a bit of a debate, right? Does he think this champion is really good here? or is he just the best out of worst options?
Yeah, that's really always the question you got to ask when they pull out something that's, you know, this perceived comfort pick for the Unicorns.
Because I would have loved to see Azir here.
Yeah.
I think Azir would have been the best pick, especially if you have a run at UComp. You have a Jax flanking, just use Emperor's Divide, he's out of there. Ruckside tunnels in, he's out of there. You're playing Control Mage against Control Mage. I like it more. I feel he runs the risk of getting Zerged on, and just especially with that Sivir ulti. So his positioning will be key and paramount for the Unicorns to take this victory home.
Now, they definitely need to be able to secure this one if they want to guarantee themselves a spot in the playoffs. Remember, if they do win today, they would put themselves up head and shoulders above the middle of the pack to be able to secure that spot. But Giants are not keen on letting that happen, as both Sheepy and Lothar shake their hands. Teams get ready to load up onto the Rift. There are some high stakes indeed. Now, why don't you guys tell us who you think is going to walk away with this game? Will it be at Giants, at LOL Esports, hashtag GIA win, or hashtag UOL win? Why don't you guys hop online and let us know as we get ready to load up onto the Rift between these two teams. Big, big, big playoff stuff on the line, and we're about to load up onto the Rift.
We got those team calls for quite a while because we were getting ready to get the camera on you, Pyra.
And you as well, Crepo. Now, here we go. We are into the game. It's game number 2, week number 9.
I always love it when we sell out the LCS studios. A lot of people here make a lot of noise.
Especially when they're cheering for their favorite mythical creature.
Don't really get to see them that often, Unicorns.
No. But when they show up big.
Only at LCS. Let's take a look at these compositions, because we never really...
Oh.
They got their own Christmases early.
Suppose so. Anyways, compositions.
Yeah, well, rightfully so, respected by a beautiful handmade sign here. Compositions, so yeah, Unicorns. If I see Graves, I feel like what I see is damage, a lot of damage in the early to mid that falls off later, unless you have continuous peel for him so he can dash in aggressively. However, that's going to be hard against Giants' lineup. So Graves kind of falls off. Annie, if she doesn't get the insta-stun kill, doesn't really bring much more to the table later in these fights. So I feel Unicorns really need to hit their mid-game spike. Whereas Giants, Jack split push is going to be interesting if he can outscale. Versus a Maokai. Maokai is traditionally good in late game at holding these pushes. Obviously doesn't push too well himself. But yeah, the man to watch is Whirl. How does he transition, say, 25-30 minutes? And then how well do Giants use that control with their control mage and Victor? But we'll get there eventually. Right now, they're posturing for early invade. And as I said before, I believe Giants will be looking for the lane swap, because the 2v2 matchup should be brutal. And I think this is the reverse mind game. Giants is doing what teams do when they want to lane swap. They get medium deep wards. Then they go back and they play their bot lane at the side where the deep wards are. That's the way lane swap plays out. But they kind of baited Unicorns into calling their lane swap. That's why Hylissang and Vardex are on top right now. They are expecting to find Audrey and Godfred, but Audrey say, nope, you guys can match us in the top lane. We will just go to the bot lane. This is a favorable start for Giants game.
Good feint by them as they go ahead and start off on the Krugs. Take a look at the last time these two teams did meet. It was week number 5. Remember, Giants, they won that head-to-head. They were able to come up with the victory.
Yeah, now in this matchup in the mid lane, you have to remember that spells don't draw minion aggro. Auto attacks do. So these guys can walk up very close to the minions, cost, you know, that Syndra ball on the Q or the Victor E to get that laser going. As long as you don't auto attack, you don't draw minion aggro. That's why very often you see them walk into the minions and you're like wondering why they're doing it. And maybe that's what goes wrong if you try this matchup at home. What matters now is who ends up winning the push war, and that should be Pepinero, first to level 2. It's a little shield, and yeah, if you end up in the lane swap, having push in mid lane is very advantageous for your jungle.
It will certainly help out. Hylissang going pretty deep here to find Whirlim and Frederick, trying to get a little bit of harass on very, very early on. It's going to be quite dangerous. He does get the stun off, however, just delaying the Wolf Camp, trying to keep the jungler from getting the levels early.
Yeah, Unicorns are shifting over to their strong side. Giants started in their weak side jungle with the lane swap. That is kind of a mistake. They got the favorable lanes, but then they started the weak side. Obviously, trying to catch up right now, but this is a little bad for them because they're running out of camps. More camps here for the Unicorns, as we see Julius and Chachi are taking down his blue buff. Chachi taking full XP, so they're funneling farm and CS and experience into their top laner because they know they will have to keep Whirl down. So good choice here by Giants. Or by Unicorns, rather.
Yeah, Unicorns, they're getting themselves off on the right foot with this 3v0 happening. Giants will join and make it 4 down on the bottom side, but that jungler is going to be kept down just a little bit. Frederick, he might get 3-buffed here with Gilius going back to his red.
He wants to get that Grump right now, 3v0 traditionally, but as we said before, Giants kind of ran out of the camps because they started at the wrong side of the map. Now Gilius is going to catch up that experience. He handed over to Chachi. Likely we'll see this wave bounce backwards. to visit Chachi as well. If you keep him ahead in levels of Whirlwind, then later on when they match up, that split push that kind of gets pushed away, and then Unicorns can force Giants into more groups. And I feel that's where the composition does shine to an extent for Unicorns.
Going to look for Power of Evil, although
denied.
Scat of the Week flashes.
Oh!
Ignite's burning, and that's a quick first blood for Power of Evil.
You don't gank Power of Evil when you're level 2, and he's in the middle lane on Syndra. Fantastic play. I feel he's kind of surprised himself there. He's like, okay, you're tunneling, I can QE, and then he's like, oh wait, this guy is stuck on tower shots. 1 shot, 2 shot, well, I will just flash the hook. Oh, beautiful play by PoE, and this stunts Giants' growth into the early to mid game. This is big. This is really big for this game.
Yeah. Power playing without any fear now. Got himself up a nice little edge, Hylissang. Moving around the side. They're going to try to develop a little bit more vision here on the map. Keep pressing the little advantages they have. Turn them big. Look at this jungle support synergy that we talked about.
Yeah, and this is what I like. Julius is getting comfortable in this team. Hylissang moving in. Find Frederick here. He wants to get an extra camp. He immediately gets denied. Has to move again away from his jungle. This is putting pressure and deep vision. These wards matter so much. Frederick is forced to use his pink ward, you know, defensively. You don't want to put that pink ward there at this point in the game. You want to move it up to the next Russian line. Gilius and Hylissang putting good pressure here. Deep wards, I like. It's so much more valuable because you get your information so much sooner. Now they don't have to. Don't move.
Don't move. Can't sense you if you don't move. In comes Frederick into the trap, but he gets the knock-up anyways. However, I think he was quite surprised by that. Whirlwind comes in, looks for Hylissang, might be able to finish him off, but a flash from the Annie, hiding in the brush. Godfred's there, so is Chachi. Hilly's gonna go down, they go too deep. There is an answering kill, however, onto Frederick. Now Unicorns continuing to try and skirmish through this jungle. Giants Gaming will back off.
Vardex loses a bit of farm here though. His wave on the bottom lane is pushing, so he's denying himself, but good follow-up. They clean up 1 for 1. It almost looks scary. Obviously, if you do that invade, you have to be ready for what's coming. That was kind of comical where Frederick dives in. None of these guys saw each other coming, so they were initially both surprised as to what was going on. Obviously, Whirlwind had to use his flash to get over that wall. Hook goes wide. So now the Unicorns are sieging the second tower, because remember, at the top lane right now, Audrey is farming up. And there's no teleport on Chachi, so nobody can get to that top lane tower. So they kind of want to get a dive here. They want to get a 4v2 scenario. That's why they're pressuring this. Let's see how they juggle this aggro. Not very well, it seems. Can they dive? They have to dive almost.
Whirlwind's a little bit low, but Frederick is now here for the backup. In a 4v3, the hook is going to land on a minion, so Chachi will not be taken. Just a little bit of poke damage, staying just outside the range if they can't play it back.
I feel
they stopped it though.
If this was China, Godfred would have died there. Just straight up.
Good for Godfred, it isn't.
Murdered. But Audrey, he's reaping the benefits of this. As we see, level 6 on the top lane. They're trading these turrets evenly.
Yeah, Unicorn's going
double stun.
Oh, they are going to look for Whirlwind. He did get the Counter-Strike offer. He's going to. There he goes. Goes in. Looks like it's Gilius who's the going low. Chachi's taking the tower shots. Frederick, Gilius, and Whirlwind both traded their lives there, and Chachi nearly went down as well.
Good hold by Giants, but they couldn't tear through that Counter-Strike. Dodges every auto attack. They needed some more magic damage, but Hylissang had already used both his spells, so a poor target choice, honestly. You're gonna get stunned by Jax anyways if you dive. Try and focus somebody else, perhaps. Chachi did do a good job of tanking the tower range at max range, but Whirlwind, he's catching up.
Got the Counter-Strike. They got the Rek'Sai around the side, and that's a quick pickup for Godfred now, securing that kill with one more auto attack. Hook gonna connect on Vardex after he already uses his escape. No flash available. He knows he's gone. Can he get the kill? No, he's going down to Whirlwind.
And look over in the top lane, we see the remains of what used to be Unicorn's tier 1 top tower. Audrey took that down. He was farming on his own, 66 CS right now. He gets that BF sword. The early game AD carry, Vardex, died on 48 CS. He's stuck on a pickaxe. So this again shifts the power, and Unicorns are playing for early mid game. They had to dive immediately. They had to have a zero hesitation dive there, or they should have never been in that position. In the end, they set themselves up so telegraphed that Giants could like formulate a counterplay. The longer it takes to get that dive to happen, to make that tower fall. Obviously, Giants are going to win out because they were getting experience on 2 lanes, where Unicorns, they were only getting experience on 1 lane. And that manifests himself in here, over here. Level 3 on Hylissang compared to level 4 on Godfred right now.
Well, the Unicorns, you mentioned this telegraphing, these plays that they're trying to make so obviously, and we've talked about how they've had some of these shot calling issues in the past. Maybe they're working together now, but you've got to have a little bit of stealth here. Oh. Chachi is going to be able to dodge this hook. Whirlwind is pushed back by the Arcane Smash, but it looks like it may be a matter of time. Julius coming to the rescue. In comes the Jax, gets the Leap Strike off the barrel to zone. Got the slowdown. Werlib still waiting for the time to leap strike in. Gilius will body slam him, but Godfred gets the ignite and the auto, and Frederick Bray seeks him out, and now Gilius all by himself will be taking down another kill over to Werlib.
Panic flash by Chachi. He was dead anyways. He was looking for targets to life leech on, but that was his creeps coming his way, and that was weird because that mistake that Godfred made into missing that hook, flash.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
All right, the mistake that Godfred made by not landing that hook actually turned out in his favor in the end. So perhaps it was genius foresight. Don't think so. But right now, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Jax initially was down 2-1 and 4 and at 28 CS. So I'd gladly sack 3 CS. Here we go, on the hunt.
Looking for Hylissang. He has his stun. Vardex will throw down the smoke screen to cover Annie's escape. Giants still not wanting to give up on this one. Still, they maintain themselves a decent little lead, a small amount of gold here as Frederick wave races his way back to the farm. Dragon really hasn't been looked at for both these teams. We're approaching that 10-minute mark. It's still a little bit of time before they typically would like to look that way, but it really has been all about fast pushing these towers, getting these dives off, and trying to out-skirmish each other.
And putting pressure, that's what it's all about right now. Pepinero picked up the blue buff, as we saw earlier. Right now can put pressure in the middle. Unicorns are down 2,000 gold, so they would be the team that would be looking for that Baron, as you were talking, the Dragon rather, as you were talking about just now, Pyra. But because they're so far behind, because they made these positional mistakes, they are now stuck in the dark. They're now looking for a pick in the mid lane, it seems. Hylissang will find that pink ward. Will not find that pink ward.
Could have found that pink ward.
Hypothetically speaking, yes. So let's see. Frederick and Werlib, they know where they are right now. Frederick, it's a little bold.
Zoom right across the river. Werlib just running straight into all the members of the Unicorns. Gonna get blown up before he can do a thing. Teleport comes in for Chachi. Big barrel. Gonna stun him against the wall for a second, and a collateral damage will take a bite out of Peppy's health bar. What were they thinking there?
Yeah, Giants knew. They 100% knew that those people were in that bush. They tried to do the fame, like they were trying to pull an Oscar. It's where you act as if you don't know, and you conveniently walk next to the bush and you go, oh no, they're in here, but I have Counter-Strike. What they didn't realize is that they would just get insta-get by the magic damage. They lose their tower in the mid lane. All the momentum, everything we were talking Giants up for, they just kind of threw away.
Yeah, Unicorns starting to close that gold gap for themselves here. Get another kill, another couple of kills, and the tower in the middle. Giants gonna try to answer this one. Werlib is already on his way back to mid lane. He's well close to it, and they've got some side waves pushing in their favor, so they may just be able to pull this off.
They're looking for a siege right here, and he's still level 5, so they're desperately trying to find a Tibbers. They need Power Reaver for the wave clear, but he had to base. They will not get the tower on this wave, and next time Power Reaver will be here. This is why you see Chachi moving to the top lane. Giants are greeding for this, however. They really want a tower. They're probably potentially setting up a dive, and they choose the better solution, which is to be a little careful. They really need to get Werlib back into the split pushing role. Otherwise, once Hylissang hits level 6, he still has his flash. He is ready with flash Tibbers.
Yeah, it is a little curious that he decides to hug the rest of his team. Now, Frederick goes in. They get on the hunt. Werlib leap strikes, but he can't quite find the target he's looking for. Power of Evil, however, is going to be found, and Audrey will pick him up quickly. Hit and run operation, and they take a tower on the backside.
And 5v4, that would have been rough. 5v3, that's easy done for Giants. So good decision making right there. Problem was, why did Vardex go so early? You can't have both your side lanes being pushed out and defend your middle lane tower. That is too much right now. Good side lane minion wave control from Giants. They said they sent in the top wave to force Chachi to deal with it, but then bot wave was coming in and Vardex wanted that farm. Giants, they wanted everything. They wanted to defend both side lanes, defend the middle lane tower, and this eventually leads to them getting Dove and Dragon. So the momentum shifts back to Giants.
Yet again, we're going to take a look at that. Not just the gold grab, but everything in this game is going to probably bounce up and down for a little while here. So Giants in that gold lead a little bit more comfortably, about 1,500 as the 13-minute mark approaches, on top of that Dragon that they've secured for themselves. Unicorns, we've said it a couple of times, they just seem to have issues sticking together mentally. Yeah,
they didn't make the best strategic calls, and which might indicate that Kikis was part of that conglomerate, shot calling operations. Unicorns don't have one shot caller; they have a team, like a strategy council almost. He's like, guys, what do we do? Let's all vote one by one by one.
Democracy.
Okay, democracy. Yes, that's
pretty big thing where I'm from.
Yeah, I know. Hail freedom.
It doesn't always work, I'll admit.
Yeah, it has shown, especially in League of Legends. You may want to go towards a dictatorship, but that's a whole different discussion here. Let's quit the politics.
I don't talk politics.
In terms of shot calling, it is better to have one shot caller. Unicorns don't have that, and that sometimes manifests in these very disjointed plays. Not really well together. Right now, Chachi and Julius are looking for some vision. Slowly creeping their way into the jungle. Potential rotation down to bot lane is possible.
Value sapling. Get the spot out. Chachi trying to protect the wards that they've got inside of that. Well, they utilize Vardags on the bottom side with the split push.
Yeah.
No answer just yet. Audrey's coming to intercept, though.
Yeah, Audrey wants to wave clear this. The Unicorns did not manage to cut him off, so that wave will be gone swiftly. So no rotation here from the Unicorns. They're playing as if they're setting up for a dragon right now, but that dragon obviously went down around 2 minutes ago, so no real objective in mind. Tier 1 tower is down in mid lane. Tier 2 tower is still alive, but you have to beat the wave clear to get there. So they're kind of loitering around, and the longer they wait, they pan over to the top lane. That's where Whirlwhip is slow pushing out that top lane because he's been in that position for quite a while right now. He is not pressed as much. He could have pushed that out quicker, but he's getting more farm. He slowly wants to get ahead of Chachi while Chachi is doing these ward wars. Giants feel comfortable defending because in the mid lane they have Victor, in the bottom lane they have Audrey who has that spell shield. So with enough vision, they can hold on.
Yes, they can. Giants Gaming will be able to cover all the side waves around, try to establish even more pressure as those ward wars do continue. Some interesting build stuff too as well. The quick pickup of the Bloodthirster for Audrey, that's not something I've seen on a Sivir first for a while. Defensive
approach right there from Audrey. He says, okay, I don't want to get blown up. I don't want to get AoE zerged down. And that's what the Unicorn's composition is all about. And if we pan over to Pepinero, he's doing the exact same thing. Abyssal first on Victor. Victor kind of outranges. I don't even believe if the Victor E, the laser, actually gets any use from that Abyssal Scepter. I feel that he will outrange the Abyssal Scepter almost in most scenarios. He just wants to stay alive if he gets caught, and then he wants to go upgrade the Hex Core. That's why that blue buff that he just picked up, that we saw earlier on the screen, is so instrumental to him, because that provides him the mana region that he needs to keep clearing his waves. Unicorns 3-man up top here. Illusang, Vardax, and Chachi for that top lane push. This is the prelude to a top lane rotation. They want to move. They want to bring the push to Whirlwhip so he can't split push. Keep him under pressure. See if they can get that tower down.
Giants, however, though, are going to try to keep pushing this up the mid. Try to force the pressure back their way. Wave's pretty even in the bot side, so Unicorns will call the bluff and move back to defend. Once again, the tempo in Giants' favor.
Yep, Giants making the moves. Vardax a little scared in the top lane. There's a pink ward there too.
He's got the second one.
Yeah, pink ward's getting destroyed everywhere. These were the wards that Unicorn set up earlier here. As we see Giants clear them out. Giants have retaken control of the jungle, retaken control of the area around mid lane. Unicorns are hiding in bushes usually for picks. They really want to find that opening. Tibbers into Scatter the Weak and just a whole lot of destruction. But other than that, they're not putting enough pressure. And Giants can stay relatively safe.
Unicorns still just continuing to try to find that wombo combo. If Giants know this, and they have to know this, they looked at this pick ban phase. They have been moving around and just kind of slipping out of danger most of the time. It's given them the edge with the knowledge that they can just play around the sides. Another Dragon's up in another minute and a half. Giants, they're on the move. They're not going to wait around as they look for Chachi, who flashes away. Frederick follows him.
Yep, they forced the flash on the Maokai, which is great because later on, as you said, that second dragon that's coming up, it's going to be big. Maokai flash W, just rooting down a key target like Pepinero. So what Unicorns want to do, want to look for that first dragon. That went down to Giants' side, so that removes the win condition. That is 5 dragons from Unicorns of Love.
Puts it farther out of reach, especially. If Giants can take this next one, it will make it even more difficult. However, Unicorns are trying to muscle their way in and around the infamous double ward. Spot out the pink. Oh, one's gone. Two's gone. Almost. Oh!
They knew.
Stays alive.
They knew they needed 2 wards to get that pink ward.
They got it.
But yeah, miscommunication there. And that's what you see a lot of these newer teams playing together. Just double warding here and there. Over-warding the same area. Unicorns with those wards, though, they're setting up a play around the dragon. That ward that you saw Hillsang put down in the mid lane is very key because it gives you a lot of early information as to where Giants are placing around and allows you to do just what Power Reveal did there. You know, hide around the corner, put QE, trying to find somebody even if you don't have minion vision. Giants are pushing back, they're pressuring. We might see a fight for the second dragon. Both teleports are live. Let's see how these teams approach this fight.
Whirlwhip does have that flash versus Chachi not having it though. As they find each other up in the top side, Hillsang's got his Tibbers up and ready, primed for the fight if Giants should group up. And knowing this, they're playing a little bit back at the moment. Ilias is actually a little out of the action as well, but pings are flying around the backside of the Dragon Pit while Whirlip continues to push his small wave into the tower of his Chachi.
Yeah, you can see how this matchup is going to play out already. Chachi is itemizing defensively. Catalyst into Tabi, into Glacial Shroud. He wants to get armor and damage reduction on those auto attacks. So he's going to be the defensive one. Whirlip obviously going to be the aggressor, so he's going to put the pressure. He could even roam down right now, but it looks like he's taking red buff on your minimap. Unicorns starting Dragon in return.
Pulling it far out of the reach of Frederick and Godfred. Should be able to secure this one. They do pop the blue trinket. In comes Frederick looking for the steal. Can El Bandito do it? He's gonna get chunked, and he can't even make it out alive.
See, I don't like that play. If you're gonna go beat 4 people, of which 2 people are just standing around and watching the steal, then you're doing your shot calling wrong. Flash Timbers!
Oh, he's able to get 3 off of this one. On the hunt to escape from the follow-up damage, and a box thrown down for good measure. Giants, now they're the ones looking like they're scrambling. Unicorns have come up big in the last 30 seconds.
Couple of flashes burned, but there's no follow-up for the Unicorns. They got the Dragon. They tried to make the pick, so their engage is down. So they're gonna do the smart thing. They're rotating to get Giants Whirlip off the top lane, and there's no counter pressure from Giants possible, so all matters whether he escapes right here or not.
Void Rush. Frederick, they're looking to try to make a fight out of this one. Godfred slowed down just a little bit. There's the counter-strike. Jilius is the one who's tanking it.
Good juke.
Onto Tibbers, and a hop, skip and a jump back into the team. Giants have been able to save their top laner.
And Baron makes his way to the Rift, but it's way too early for that one. Just want to go back to that Dragon fight. I think it's okay if you want to go for the tunnel over Smite Lantern out play. 1, you don't do it this early, and 2, you don't need Sivir and Victor watching that play. There's absolutely no reason to have them around. They could be putting pressure mid. Hell, they could be moving over to top, join up with Willoughby and put pressure in the top lane. Obviously, you leave your mid lane exposed, but these are all options you can do. And Giants, they weren't quite sure how they were going to approach that Dragon. If they were looking for a fight, they could have rotated Whirlip down, went just for a good old skirmish. I think it's alright, not fighting against Unicorns. Obviously, we're still in the mid-game. Very, very mid-game oriented composition here by Unicorns of Love, so it's good to be wary, but then plan ahead.
And they definitely need to keep themselves on the up and up. One thing we didn't as much mention was the way Giants' late game should play out. If this comp does make it, you know, we're talking 40 minutes in, this Victor becomes an insane threat. This Jax, he's already got his Trinity Force, but imagine him with the set more items, and we know what Whirlip can do on this champion. Not to mention, the rest of their team is not too shabby in the late game either.
Yeah, definitely in the late game, a good 4-1, potential 1-3-1 split push you can achieve with Frederick being one of the split pushers, and then the only counter to Victor really is hard engage if you catch him off guard because he's a really good control mage. However, Pepinera does have that cleanse. He has the Lantern to get away, the added mobility from on the hunt, so if he plays relatively careful, it will take a lot of hard engage from Unicorns to catch him, and that's one thing you'll have to watch later. How well World can split push, and how well Pepinera can stay alive in the middle of all that.
I think you hit it on the head, though, with how careful can they be, because their item choices are definitely indicating that. Mention how defensive it all is. Other than the couple of silly attempts, or the silly attempt on the Dragon, you would say, they have been playing very, very back and not trying to give Unicorns too much of an edge. Despite that, it has been fairly bloody, but you know, any game with Unicorns, any game with Giants, I think you gotta kind of give that one.
They had the right aggression at the right times, overstepped a couple of times, but that goes for both these teams here. Oh, Evil dancing around, looking for a flank of sorts.
Hanging out for Frederick right now.
Yeah, they found Frederick. They're going for Frederick.
See, he's gonna get his tunnel over, however, and he will get away.
No tunnel vision on him. He sees them coming.
Now they got peripheral. Unicorns making a move around the Baron, see if they can secure some vision up here. Still very, very early to try and look for this one, but it's never too early to start dancing.
The problem is, hang on, Lantern, good juke again by Frederick. It's too early to get complete vision control over that Baron, and obviously the Giants know that nobody's going to start this Baron without Maokai tanking it. Gilius gets found by Whirlip.
Comes off a little bit.
And you don't have your upgraded trinkets. That's a problem. You can't guarantee yourself complete vision denial, which usually means that you just pander around, wait for a pick somewhere. You legit wait for somebody to get bored. Like, I want some vision here. I'll take the risk. And then you walk into QE from Syndra. Then you can get snowballed on. But Giants, with that Tremor Sense too, they have all the means to play careful. They have so many security blankets to face check. Lantern on the hunt. And And they just wait, they bide their time because Whirlup's getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, Timbers, it's on to Godfrey. They've got a little damage, not as much as they might have liked. The box is down. Unicorns are actually inside of the choke point. Frederick, he's going to get blown up, however, but Unicorns are a little bit battered and bruised at the moment. Chachi trying to front the line as Pepinero is forced back away from this. It is a 1-for-none, but man, it looks like it could be more. Gilius, leap strike onto him. Whirlup will find the pickoff. It's a 1-for-1. Junglers down on both sides.
All right, very interesting exchange here. Saw teleports come in from both top laners. Whirlup came in and cleaned that up. I feel like Giants could have disengaged as well. They could have made it out alive, but they decided to turn in. Frederick saw the 4-man knockup highlight reel, got insta-gibbed. But then Whirlup came over and teleported in. Wanted to see in a replay possibly. Oh, here we
Power.
go.
He's going a little low out of this one. Whirlup, he's scattered back away, and the tower takes another shot, but Chachi's the one who narrowly avoids being picked off as well. Close calls again.
Let's stop looking in the past and see what's happening, what's going on. Whirlup goes for the diver. That could have been crucial. Just that one extra kill, snowballing himself ahead. What I was talking about earlier is I was wondering if Whirlup just sticked in a top lane, if he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Let's see the teleports when they come in. Maokai lands, Whirlup could just cancel and say, guys, just peel back, sacrifice one. I have top tower at my disposal here. I think that would have been the correct call. Re-engaging is a little bold, and it speaks to with the chaotic nature that Giants have in their play. Same with Unicorns. You buy into the chaos. That's what's happening here. Whirlup had an open street in top lane to take tier 2 tower. However, he does pick him up this kill on Gilius, so no harm really done, but a lot of opportunity cost. You know, a lot more could have been achieved in this play.
Certainly could have been worse, and you could see in that replay that it didn't look like they were all on the same page with Frederick. It took about a second before the rest of the team re-engaged on top of it. So you can see, you know, both these teams definitely suffering a little bit with still some lingering shot-calling doubts.
Yeah, but we are in the race for playoffs, and obviously it's very easy to say, hey guys, you got to work as a team. Got to do the same thing. But we've all been in those games, whether it's on stage or not. We know how hard that is to work as a team, and Giants working better as a team so far. At least they're committing to these fights. It is better to teleport down and not gain as much potential gain than it is to not teleport and make your team lose the fight 4v5.
With that, Dragon's on, set half health. They've
go with the jungle.
Gragas on the line. Won't be going for him. Whirlup, however, is caught between a few Unicorns right here. Tries to get the jump, but he's denied, and Vardax blows him down. Dragon, however, is secured by Giants. They trade their top laner for it.
Sacrifice Whirlup. Really? Look at the damage. Yep. This is what we're talking about, Victor. There was no Abyssal in range there, I believe, too.
Still got the damage.
Unicorns, they want to bait the Baron. They're going to find that Scuttle Crab that's right there, and then they realize, yeah, guys, this bait's not going to happen unless they go inside of the pit, but then they can fake it, though. Look what Power Evil is going to do. He's going to cast it.
Get the blue.
Yep, that awkward scrying orb. It was good by Power Evil, though. Casting those little balls left and right as if you're doing it on Baron. Standing outside, acting again.
Well, both teams definitely trying to get the Oscar for this game for sure. Pepinero takes a little bit of damage, but they will get a catch on Chachi. Can he go in? He can burn the spell shield of Audrey. Boxes down on Godford as well.
A little late.
Health, they get a few cooldowns.
That's the problem with Thresh. If you make one mistake on one of your abilities, all the rest will miss. If you put your box down and you expect him to be slow by box and then flay, obviously, if he walks out of your box, then suddenly your flay will miss too, and then if you have a follow hook ready, then you get to stand in the corner for shame. However, doesn't really matter, not too much lost. The teams are setting up for this dance around the Baron right here. Vision denial, punish, face check. Saying he knows he has time. Giants are not going to start that Baron all too quickly. It's not like it's going to disappear in seconds, so they can take their time. Especially when you see that Victor E come over the wall, it's indicative that there's a bait going on. They're not actually doing the Baron, because otherwise they will be using their spells on the Baron too. A little bit of mind reading right there. Unicorns say, nope, we only need to face check that because we saw people with that one lone ward. Top left of your screen right there. And teams go back to farming their jungle. Debate over who takes the wolves. Whirlup's back in his natural habitat, split pushing. However, he should probably start looking to go bottom lane as his teleport is about to come up.
There'll be just a few more seconds on that one. So with all the crazy back and forth we had in the early game and a few into the mid, it has more or less evened out. There's still a gold lead in favor of Giants. They've still got that one extra dragon, but Unicorns have not backed down on this, and more importantly, they've not really given the Giants a lot of breathing room to make these mistakes. If they do take one bad fight, it can turn on a dime.
Yeah, bad fight can turn this entire game around, and that's what the Unicorns are hoping for. Obviously, those Giants are hoping for not to happen. Giants are fine going even as the time progresses. Saber scales beautifully into the late game, both utility and damage-wise. Whirlup, we've seen it before, he becomes a threat on that Jack split push. So right now, Unicorns are looking for an opening. Hylissang wants to get that Tibbers down.
If he can find it too. We have seen a couple of big ones, but equally a couple that haven't really been quite so valuable. Chachi has the attention of Werlib, or rather vice versa for the time being. Frederick will just barely not proc the Baron as teams continue to play around the big purple worm.
And Chachi
being cleared out.
Is not itemizing full defense, gets that Righteous Glory because he realizes his main objective will be harding Age in these fights. Hylissang might be left behind by his team here. So he'll be a little weaker in the duel, but he'll be stronger in the team fights, and that's what Unicorns are looking for. These 5v5 team fights with Chachi flanking, connect Twisted Advance to Pepinero, and then as he cleanses, get a W. You see Unicorns pushing in for deep vision because obviously Giants have one man down here. Hook goes wide. You see this natural mid-game pacing. Unicorns are progressing the vision into the jungle, so eventually they can peel back and go for that Baron bait. However, they will always have the risk that Werlib can flank them, because that's why Werlib's pushing in the top lane right now, to keep that Baron presence. He doesn't want to get that bot lane presence to get the tower, he just wants to make sure they can always move around the Baron area from both sides, making it impossible for the Unicorns to secure that objective. Again, stalling time.
Not only that, their wards are doubly effective too. If people do decide to try to rush up and get a quick grab on Werlib and give themselves a number advantage, those wards will not only help keep vision of the Baron, but it'll help him stay safe as well. Yep. So Giants definitely utilizing their vision best they can. Unicorns trying to do the same thing, but they placed quite a few more around that side, which means they won't have as many available on the other parts of the map. Dragon, remember, is only 2 minutes away now. So even though they've been traded a little bit back and forth, Unicorns will have to think about that soon.
And the Unicorns are committing so heavy to this left side of the map that actually left their blue buff exposed for Giants to take one Lantern down, so that's one fish take 2 down. They spot somebody somewhere which pumps the mid push. When you see teams do this, Unicorns immediately know that they walked over a ward somewhere. These Giants are no longer scared of the Baron bait, so they just push in mid lane. This again in turn forces Unicorns to walk and defend. Very step-by-step traditional progress. Again, Giants are happy with this.
Giants will be able to do a little bit more damage on this tower and looks like finish it off well. The rest of Unicorns weren't able to get there in time. Audrey clearing the wave as well.
Good spell shield by Audrey.
Oh, Hilly!
Hylissang found by Werlib. Flash.
He's gonna get a flash for a flash, and Werlib doesn't care that there's damage there. And he's able to get his ward hop out. Oh, but Power goes over the wall after him and takes him down. The Lantern came a bit late.
If Werlib kept running, Lantern Shield and Locket would have saved him. However, Hook.
And to get the Gilius, they're going to take a huge chunk out of him and knock him all the way down. Audrey, Peppy, both stunned up. Power of Evil doing the best he can to stave them off this tower attack.
Chachi's here.
Enough flash from Audrey. Frederick able to get back. They've got the hook. They're burning through his health, however. All of a sudden, both teams decide now is the time to fight, and they're battered and bruised. 2 for 1, all said and done in that.
Power of Evil is the reason Unicorn stayed even in this fight. He landed 1, 2, 3, I believe, 2-man stuns with that QE combo, and Giants overreach a little bit for that support kill. If the support already burns their flash, why chase over, blind? So you have to get out. Werlib a little greedy, ends up costing him his life. Something, a mistake a lot of players make is when they see a flash, they want to match it and get the kill, but in your head, if you analyze what do you just get, you just got something to flash for free. They're 20%, they have to base. You can put pressure in the top lane, you know. You're still a fully functioning resource with a defensive summoner if you get caught. Why use that to go into the darkness to pick up a support kill?
Yeah, and then he had another chance to get out, but didn't quite see the Lantern at the exact same moment. Unicorns position themselves around the Baron. This time there are no Giants wards, and Giants are backing away. Frederick too low to really do much. He's got his ultimate up, but he may not get back in time. Giants are slowly
choke point right here.
Teleport up. See if Godfrey can make it happen as Werlib moves away, just gets Tibbers, and Chachi jumps on him immediately, trying to unleash the power. Frederick will get a massive knock-up on the team, and Tibbers is the one who's hooked in. The barrel will knock Frederick back away, and the Baron is reset. Unicorns, I feel like they didn't necessarily need to peel off at the moment they did.
Yeah, they were just so afraid of getting clumped up against that Jax coming in, especially when he came in. Tibbers instantly came down from Hylissang. Jax managed to jump out, in his jump animation was still stunned. And it was obviously pacing who's going to come out on top. However, Giants got to Unicorns got to Baron because they out-rotated Giants, but because they lose the Baron pressure, they now out-rotate the Unicorns and get this tier 1 tower here, or tier 3 tower.
Nearly.
Almost get it down. It's a game of rotations, but Gilius is flanking. Maokai is flanking. No home guards.
For the rest of the team. Gilius is unable to get away from the hook. However, it's Frederick who gets blown away by Vardags, and Werlib is a little stunned up for the moment as he tries to get involved in the fight. Pepinero continues to send out the lasers, but Unicorns have managed to find 1 for 9.
Godfred.
Look for more. Godfred stunned up and run away. They pop the Righteous Glory. These fights just aren't ending.
And this is what we talk about. Victor is such a control mage, and so is Power Evil on that champion. Syndra is the word I'm looking for. I haven't seen it in a while. And this is why you see these teams pacing back and forth, trying to catch out each other. Just no full-on hard engage, you know, wombo combo. A lot of control. Gotta dodge those stuns, gotta dodge those hooks. Gotta dodge those lasers, because they hurt.
Everybody two-stepping everything, and everything has been so close. That Baron nearly went down. Tower in mid is slowly going to start recovering its health. This game is still very even. However, Giants, they're still increasing the gold lead. It's slow, but they're doing it. And not only that, they're going to get a dragon out of this as well.
Yeah, they deny a possible third dragon later. They get the extra basic movement speed outside of On the Hunt right now too. So in these fights where you have to two-step, you know, dodge, dip, duck and dive, and dodge again, I believe Trevor always says, that extra movement speed from that third Baron buff is going to be key. Now Whirlip finally moves into the bottom lane. Giants say, okay, we've hit our mid game, or our mid to late game. Right now we're going to put our foot on the offensive pedal. Let's stop being defensive around that Baron. We've learned that we can deny the Unicorns this. Let's put some pressure, force Maokai in the bot lane, especially without teleport. This is a favorable situation for Giants. Week 1 we talked about Exodia comps, you know, put them all together and they start working out. Unicorns don't really have one, but it's close. They do better with all their 5 members combined, I feel, than Giants do. And individually, in the split push, Whirlip does better. He puts that pressure, and he can always then peel off floor first, join his teams, while Maokai is still defending that bot lane.
If you want to stop a team from comboing, you just got to make sure they're not in the same place. The 1-3-1 definitely accomplishes that. So, little sideway pressure on the top side. Nobody really there to continue this one, as Giants are going to start looking to group here. Pings flying, so they know that Godfred and Frederick are hanging around the side, swinging the Pixel Brush, waiting for the check. Gilius not going to get hooked this time. They will send the Boomerang Blade flying. Unicorns get a little bit of damage for the trouble, but they find it out.
I'm liking Gilius a lot more in this Gragas. Yes, he's died 4 times, but he's always the first one to face check, and he's pathing left and right, juking quite some hooks. Now this leaves the mid lane exposed earlier. Whoever baits the Baron leaves their mid lane exposed. That is the name of the game. Unicorns are grouped as 5. They have a choke point in front of them.
And we'll be able to get away. Nice dodge on the hook. Still have to wait for that next spinning wave to be able to finish off the tower in the middle.
And then you push in mid, and then now you can rotate back to Baron. Deny that vision, but set up a potential bait for yourself. In turn, you leave your mid lane exposed. You change places, but at some point, somebody's gonna pull off that face check. Get the control. Mid lane control is very paramount to these baits, otherwise people are gonna step in. QE combo.
He's stunned. They're going to get another stun off on him. He will pull his way in. Godfrey will finally land a hook on a Power of Evil, but he goes way too far. Gets shut down immediately by Power. And Audrey on the hunt with nothing to hunt in a 5v4 situation. Now Unicorns, will they try to pressure the Baron?
Godfred was listening to Sun 41 because it was in too deep. Whirlip gets caught.
Yes, he does. And now Whirlip still taking the line here as Gilius, who takes a little bit too much damage. Giants kiting around, trying to avoid being clumped up in any way, shape, or form, even with the Tibbers down. See if they can get themselves out of danger for now.
There's still vision on Baron. This is why the Giants are okay with pacing around. They just want to keep the Unicorns busy because they're playing 4 against 5. They'll now lose their mid lane tower. However, when everybody comes out of the base, Giants could turn this around into a favorable fight again because they're all full HP. Unicorns are still chunked from that engage.
Unicorn's a little bit low to try and manage this one. Hill saying he's backing, but he's sitting on a ward right now. They have to know this is happening. Frederick, after he void rushed his way in, might be able to find favorable hit onto somebody. Looks for Chachi, gets the knockup, but Audrey and Whirlip are going to be knocked back. Power of Evil jumped on by the Jax, counter struck, and now Power on the run, gets the Ignite off, trying to finish him off, but he can't do it. Shut down finally by Whirlip as the Unicorns scatter.
Unicorns felt confident, false sense of security after they won that initial fight. They took down the support, but everybody else on Giants' side was pretty healthy. Rek'Sai bases, ultis back in. Whirlip was still full HP, and they bought enough time. And they kept Unicorns from basing, and now Giants are looking to take this Baron. Is El Bandito gonna get the Baron stolen away from him? Gilius has flash available, no flash available, but smite available.
Gilius could decide to body slam his way in. Vardags and Hilly waiting around the side will take a bit of damage. Gravity field is on. Vardags has to dash away. Baron is low. Baron is secured. Gilius comes in way too late, and he's got no escape. He's popped by Pepinero.
Giants did a good job of making their average DPS very low. So it seemed to Unicorns Baron is going down at this rate, and then they immediately turned on the fire at 2K. They said, okay, everybody use everything and I will smite. Julius comes in, the guy wants to be the hero. He's imagining the highlight reel. Oh, Gilius stole that Baron, what a player. Comes in empty-handed. Tower mid lane goes down now.
Can't get the stars in his eyes too early. There's still plenty of game left to play. 38 minutes on the clock. The base of Unicorns has been cracked. With this Baron buff, What will Giants turn their attention to for now? They are pinging the bottom side, however, they've got a big wave of minions to contend with first.
Giants, yeah, they want to get more, they want to get an inhibitor. What they do with 5-man or the 4-man split push, potential 1-3-1 split push. Obviously, Baron gets more efficient the more lanes you push because of that minion buff, so 1-3-1 could be a solution for the Giants here. However, then you're very prone to a hard engage in the mid lane. So 4-1 is the safer nephew of the 1-3-1. Looking at these mid lanes, so much damage. Even though Pepinero itemized defensively initially, he then went out full AP build right after. He skipped the mana regen on the Necronomicon, so he has less mana regen, a CDR overhaul, but just a lot of raw damage. However, Power of Evil, he got that CDR coming in, so he does more damage more often, but full squish, and we saw it right there. If UOL connects to stun, it's over.
Allowing them to come to him. Seemingly knew this too. Still sitting on those basic boots. Pepinero has not been troubled by this whatsoever. Werleb goes in, maybe a little deep himself, gets the counter-strike, trying to block the lantern. Keep it away, knock him away. He can't deal with 4 unicorns at once, although he nearly managed at least to take down 1.
So Giants, they were looking for the 4-1, but they set it up sloppily. Unicorns, good catch.
Oh, Chaos Storm onto Chachi. He's able to walk it out though. 25 seconds on this next dragon, that's gonna be big.
And they lose Werleb, he does have teleport available. Flash Vardex.
He's gonna dash. He's into tower range, but he might be dead already. One more boomerang, that's all they need. And they can shut down this tower as well. Frederick's just gonna tank it up. They can continue doing this one, Crapo.
Greed on both sides of the equation right here, but good opening move from Giants. That's the mark that you're a comfortable team. If you can engage 4v5, even when you're a man down, just make a pick, even it out. Great move there, fantastic. Yeah, shot calling right there. Good move. This secures them the dragon. You see on the screen. This puts the unicorns on the back foot. Not only are they slowly getting outscaled this game, they are now facing the 4th dragon in the game at 40 minutes. So at 46 minutes, we could potentially be looking at Aspect. And we say right there, 40 minutes on the game. This is not where unicorns want to be with their composition at this point in time.
And only with 1 dragon in their pockets. We mentioned that one of those win conditions would be to be able to secure that Aspect, but it is Giants that are getting closer and closer to that, continuing to expand this gold lead ever so slowly. It's crept up to about 5,000, but Giants clearly in the lead in those boxes.
Actually quite interesting that Vardex went for the BT, I believe 3rd item, and he's now, only now building his Lost Whisper. He's going for a late spike. So it's a mismatch. Power Evil is going full offense because he knows he's going to get outscaled. But then his AD carry is going full defense, like not full defensive, but as defensive as the 3rd item AD carry build can be, apart from perhaps QSS. So I'd like to see an earlier Lost Whisper on that Graves. Could have turned around these fights potentially.
Round of work, they're just going to grab the red buff away. Fresh hooks come in handy for more than just grabbing enemy team. And now it looks like we might be in for a couple of trades here, Crepo.
I believe we might be getting a picture-in-picture camera coming up soon, because this is a base race. Do you really want to race against the Jax though? That is the question. Because they can send down Victor, and Victor can immediately clean these waves if he bases. All he needs to do is get rid of the minions. Jax is so much quicker when it comes to these Nexus towers. Chachi based.
Got 1 sent back. Inhibitor's taken from the top, 1
evening out.
Unicorns, they're calling the bluff here. Chachi is here, Gilius is here, but there are no Giants to defend their own base. One Nexus turret, they've got a member lost already.
Unicorn's gonna win this?
They might be able to pull it off after being so far behind. The bait was taken.
Oh my god, it's Unicorns!
Unicorns of love, can they do it? Trampling down the Giants, yes they can!